More dangerous than a virus. Mythos? The story of a new AI threat looming over the banking system. It is around 2 in the morning. The cybersecurity control room of a large bank is still awake. Transactions are running on the screens, fraud alerts are blinking, and analysts are quietly looking at logs. From the outside, everything seems normal. UPI is running on people's mobiles, cards are being swiped, salary accounts appear secure, and ATM machines are going about their routine. But this is where the fear begins, because the banking system is not always threatened only by human hackers. Sometimes the threat also comes from that very technology which humans themselves created in the name of security, speed, and intelligence. And this is where curiosity is born. What exactly is there in this new AI model that has suddenly made regulators, banks, and central banks around the world so cautious? Is this just an advanced software or a digital tool that in the right hands can provide security and in the wrong hands can shake the banking system from within? According to Reuters, the RBI is in talks with global regulators, Indian banks, and government officials to understand the potential cyber risks linked to Anthropic's Claude Mythos model. First of all, let one important thing be made clear. This story is not about an old computer virus. It is about a new AI model called Claude Mythos. Anthropic announced Claude Mythos preview on its official Red Team site on the 7th of April 2026. The company itself said that this model is a general-purpose language model, but its capability in computer security tasks is unusually strong. In that same announcement, Anthropic also mentioned Project 𝐮𝐸𝐴𝐵, whose purpose is to use this model to help secure critical software and prepare the industry for future cyber attack practices. That means the company presented it primarily in a defensive cybersecurity context. But this is exactly where the real problem is also hidden. The same system that is very fast at finding vulnerabilities can, if misused, also increase the speed of attackers. That is why the fear around Mythos did not remain limited only to technology circles. According to Reuters reports on April 20th and April 21st, regulators and banks are closely monitoring this model because the concern is that it may increase the speed at which unknown vulnerabilities can be identified and exploited before they are patched. Reuters also reported that there is something like a scramble in the global banking industry around this model, because after some major US banks were given initial access, other banks and regulators also want to understand its capability. This threat is considered even more serious for the banking sector because banks often run on old, layered, and highly interconnected systems where even a small vulnerability can trigger a chain reaction. If this is understood in simple language, Mythos is not some tool that will automatically go and hack a bank. The real concern is about its capability. According to Reuters and Anthropic's public material, this model is considered unusually strong in identifying software weaknesses, carrying out complex security tasks, and high-level cyber reasoning. In Reuters' report, experts were quoted as saying that this model may make it easier for attackers to discover and exploit unknown vulnerabilities before defenders can patch them. This means that where, until now, it used to take an advanced human attacker a long time to reach a flaw, in the future some AI-assisted workflows may do the same work much faster. This speed gap is the biggest fear for the financial system. Now the question arises, why is the banking system considered so vulnerable? The answer is hidden in the complexity of technology. Banks are not just a website or a mobile app. Inside them, there is a huge web of core banking systems, payment switches, third-party vendors, card networks, APIs, fraud detection engines, customer databases, compliance systems, treasury platforms, and cloud integrations. Reuters, too, has shown the banking sector as a domain that depends to a large extent on outdated and complex systems. In such a case, if an AI model can find vulnerabilities quickly, then the risk does not remain limited to just one bank. Its echo can spread to payment flow, interbank connections, vendor systems, and even national financial infrastructure. That is why this fear is not just the fear of one more AI launch, but the fear of systemic risk. In the context of India, this matter becomes even more important. India's banking and payments ecosystem has now become extremely digital. UPI, IMPs, cards, mobile banking, digital lending, account aggregation, online onboarding. Every layer depends on technology. According to Reuters' report, NPCI has tried to obtain early access to Mythos software with some selected banks so that its weaknesses and cyber risks can be identified before it is used or exposed at a broader level. This, in itself, says a lot. This does not mean that NPCI or RBI are in panic, but that the institutions want to take a proactive, not reactive, approach. First understand, then prepare the defense. That is what a mature regulatory response looks like. The second reason for RBI's concern is international coordination. Reuters reported that RBI officials, over the past 2 weeks, have consulted counterparts such as the US Federal Reserve and the Bank of England regarding risks linked to Mythos. Its simple meaning is that this is not being treated as a purely domestic issue. When cyber risk is cross-border, model access is international, vendors are global, and attacks do not respect geographic boundaries, then the local regulator has to become part of the global conversation. RBI is reportedly also preparing broader guidelines that may govern partnerships and adoption strategy involving advanced AI models. This means the concern is not only what can Mythos do today, but also under what framework will banks adopt powerful AI tools tomorrow. The most interesting aspect of this whole story is that two completely different emotions are running side by side around Mythos all over the world. On one hand, banks and critical infrastructure organizations want to use it for defensive testing, vulnerability discovery, and system hardening. According to Reuters and Anthropic, the model is in controlled preview, and under Project 𝐮𝐸𝐴𝐵, access has been given to major tech firms and critical infrastructure organizations. On the other hand, regulators fear that if such capability reaches wrong actors, or if access controls fail, then that same defensive tool can become an offensive acceleration machine. This double-edged nature is what makes this model different from an ordinary AI release. And this fear has not remained merely theoretical. Reuters reported on the 21st of April 2026, citing Bloomberg News, that unauthorized users had gained access to Anthropic's Mythos model. According to the report, the unauthorized access is believed to have happened through a third-party vendor environment, and Anthropic was investigating it. Reuters also said that according to available information, the unauthorized use was not for cybersecurity purposes, but even such an incident is enough in itself to raise regulatory alarm. Because if unauthorized access is possible, even to a tightly controlled preview model, then the question is no longer only about the strength of the model, but also about its governance, vendor, security, and access chain. For banking regulators, this is a warning bell. AI risk is not just model risk, it is ecosystem risk too. From here, this story also reaches ordinary people. Someone may think that if this matter is between model developers, central banks, and cybersecurity teams, then why should a normal account holder worry? The answer is that cyber risk to the banking system ultimately becomes a risk to customer trust. If attacks on banks become faster, smarter, and more automated, then the impact will not remain only in the back end. It can appear in the form of payment disruptions, fraud spikes, service outages, account compromise attempts, phishing sophistication, and incident response cost. Reuters has earlier shown, through rising regulatory scrutiny in Indian banks and technology-related glitches, that RBI has long emphasized technology resilience. Now, AI-powered cyber capability has made that urgency even sharper. But one more important balance must be understood here. At the headline level, calling Mythos more dangerous than a virus may sound dramatic, but the technical reality is a little different. A virus can be a direct malicious code, whereas Mythos is an AI model. Its risk does not lie in any autonomous evil intent, but in its powerful capability. The right environment, the right prompts, the right access, and the right or wrong human intent. All of these together will determine its impact. So it is necessary to be concerned, but not to be frightened by the wrong analogy. The real danger is that AI-assisted cyber operations may accelerate vulnerability discovery, exploit development, testing, and attack planning. This is exactly the point that Reuters, experts, and regulators are repeatedly pointing out. Now, think. What happens if banks ignore such models? Even then, the danger will not reduce, because attackers or third parties will try to gain access eventually, while defenders will remain in the dark. And if banks adopt it without guardrails, there will still be a problem, because new challenges will arise around model integration, data exposure, third-party dependencies, and misuse monitoring. That is why the current regulatory approach, monitoring, consultations, controlled access, preparedness reviews, and guidelines, actually seems like the most sensible path. This is neither blind adoption nor blind rejection. It is the path where the system first wants to understand the model and then wants to build policy and controls. This is the central theme that appears in Reuters reporting. There is another subtle lesson hidden in this whole matter. Earlier, cybersecurity was often understood as being limited to firewall, antivirus, patching, and employee awareness. Now the equation is changing. Now security means adversarial, AI readiness, vendor access control, model governance, red teaming, secure sandboxes, incident simulation, international information sharing, and sector-wide coordination. Anthropic itself talked about industry preparedness along with the launch of Mythos, while Reuters reports show that regulators and banks are trying to turn that preparedness into operational reality. This means the banking security of the future will no longer remain only a story of passwords and patches. It may also become an AI versus AI contest. For India, this moment is special because the country has adopted digital finance at an extraordinary scale. The benefit of that scale is big, and the risk is big too. The system that gives instant payments to crores of people is the same system whose failure of resilience can also spread to crores of people. That is why, if RBI, NPCI, and banks are already having alert conversations around models like Mythos, this should be seen not as unnecessary fear, but as timely prudence. According to Reuters, RBI may even begin direct talks with Anthropic, and NPCI wants early access to understand vulnerabilities. This shows that institutions are at least proceeding on the assumption that the next cyber battle will not be fought with old tools. In the end, the truth is that the story of Mythos is not only the story of one AI model. It is the story of a world in which technology has become so fast that both security and danger can emerge from the same tool. On one side, that very model can make critical software more secure, and on the other side, if that same capability is misused, it can place banking networks under unprecedented pressure. So the real question is not whether AI is...
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.